First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The historic Thelma A. Bolton Center in Gainesville is being demolished. This is a live look at the destruction underway after city commissioners voted to have it torn down. Less than 2 weeks ago, commissioners decided on the destruction after determining it would cost millions more to restore it. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Eva Garcia.
And I'm Ciara Carle. The demolition marks an end to a years-long debate about what to do with the center that housed World War II soldiers. Here's a timeline of events. The center was built in 1942 and served as an entertainment venue for service members stationed at nearby military bases. Over the years, it was worn down and closed in 2020 after staff found structural failures in the building's roof. A year later, it was determined the building had to come down or be renovated. After a few years of back and forth with leaders, renovations began in 2024. Then last month, it was determined that $3 million allocated for repairs is only about half of what was needed to complete the next phase. And on September 4th, commissioners voted 6-1 to tear it down. WUFT's Alyssa Britton-Harr is here at the center live. Alyssa, there were a crowd of people watching the demolition, and some of them were visibly upset.
Earlier this month, the Wild Spaces and Public Places Commission told Gainesville leaders it would take roughly another $3 million to complete renovations. That's when they decided on the demolition option. After the vote, neighbors wrote the commissioners and Mayor Harvey Ward citing a 90-day hold for historic buildings in the city code that would pause the demolition while other options to save it could be discussed. But the Main Street Daily News reported that city leaders say this case was not bound by that hold. I reached out to the city for a comment, but they declined to comment on the code reference. Live in East Gainesville, Alyssa Britton-Harr, WUFT News.
The tropics were unusually inactive the last couple of weeks, a rarity for this time of year. But now our weather team is tracking some activity in the eastern Atlantic. UF forecaster Reuben Roberts is live in the weather studio. And Reuben, we may see Tropical Storm Gabrielle form within the next couple of days.
I mean, you're absolutely right. You can see over the next 48 hours, there is a 90% chance of a tropical system developing. Now, it is a chance it could either become a tropical depression or the next named storm, Gabrielle. Now, we are going to put a little bit of attention of this tropical system that is coming off the coast of Africa, but we'll have more for you about what this means for North Central Florida. Speaking of, let's go back home. You can see in North Central Florida, there is not much going on right now. We can thank the drier air in the atmosphere from suppressing the chances of showers affecting our area. I mean, you see some scattered isolated showers in your area, but right now it's mostly nothing. Taking a look at the lows, look at this: 57 for Live Oak, 59 for Lake City and Columbia, 61 for Gainesville. It was cool outside, so bringing a jacket to work makes sense. Now, touching briefly one more time on the satellite and radar, or the satellite, we are tracking. This could become a tropical system. It is a tropical system that could become a tropical named storm.
A Columbia County man is behind bars charged with 3 counts of child pornography. The investigation several hours away in Panama City Beach, where police received a tip about a video depicting child sexual abuse. They soon identified the suspect as a Lake City resident and handed the investigation to the Columbia County Sheriff's Office, who arrested Justin Michael Pearson on September 12th. On your screen now is an image of Pearson holding a hashtag Save Our Children sign. CCSO stated that, quote, "This is a sobering reminder that regardless of all appearances, all parents should be mindful of who is interacting with their children."
Covering Marion County, it's election day in the city of Ocala. 4 elected officials are on the ballot, 2 are contested races. We're told voter turnout is steady, but officials hope for higher engagement. WFT's Emily Drelick joins us live to tell us what's happening at the polls in Ocala.
People across Ocala are casting their ballots today, voting for their next mayor and city council member. While the election today has been a success, city leaders are encouraging voters to get more involved in their local elections.
I know I went to my poll this morning.
It's election day in Ocala, and residents are hitting the polls to cast their vote.
It's an important election.
On the ballot, incumbent Ben Marciano faces off against political newcomer Zachary Arbor Feliciano for the mayor's office. First seat on the city council, incumbent Jay Mushla takes on Mark Clark and Tambora Jenkins for District 3.
The people that the city of Ocala elects today, they're going to take office in December. They're going to be able to start having influence virtually immediately.
Historically, local elections in Ocala have less turnout than state and federal elections. Marion County Supervisor of Elections Wesley Wilcox wants more voters to pay attention to their local elections.
The elections that have the most impact on us on a daily basis are municipal and county elections.
As of 2 p.m. on Election Day, only about 9% of Ocala's 33,000 eligible voters have cast their ballots. That's compared to an 80% turnout in November's presidential election. David Martin is an Ocala voter.
Everybody is very motivated to vote during the presidential elections, but really what shapes your community is these local elections.
Ocala residents, it's not too late to cast your vote. The polls will be open until 7 p.m. tonight. After that, we're going to start seeing some preliminary race results being released by the Marion County Supervisor of Elections. Live from Ocala, Emily Drelick, WUFT News.
Marion County's Board of Commissioners is currently meeting to discuss a variety of initiatives and budget items, including a requested $20 million increase in funding by the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Billy Woods' department was allotted just over $185 million for the coming fiscal year. But with just under 2 weeks until the next year begins, the Sheriff's Office is now asking for just short of $205 million, a nearly $20 million ask. We'll continue bringing you updates on this as the story unfolds.
Earlier today, the board approved a $5 million grant agreement with the FAA to improve the Ocala International Airport. The FAA grant will cover 95% of construction costs for the airport's Beacon, Vault, and Taxiway B projects. 4% is expected to be covered by a separate FDOT grant, while the final 1% will be funded by the county.
It's National Voter Registration Day, and the head of Florida's Democratic Party stopped at the University of Florida to talk about the importance of having your voice heard. Nikki Fried worked alongside UF College Democrats and Alachua Young Democrats to help register students to vote. Their aim is to encourage a rise in registered voters, but also even the disparity among registered Republicans and Democrats in the state. But red or blue, one of Fried's key messages, the importance of staying educated and being politically engaged.
Functioning democracy depends on an informed citizenry that not only registers to vote, but also shows up in every election because they believe that their voice and their vote matters.
Fried says there are currently 1.3 million more registered Republicans than Democrats in Florida. We reached out to the Alachua County Republican Party to ask what plans they have to get more voters registered. We are waiting to hear back.
The Alachua County Sheriff's Office is making it easier to access Narcan. ACSO says it installed a Narcan dispenser in the county lobby jail, available to the public free of charge. Narcan is used to reverse opioid overdoses. The Florida Medical Examiners Commission says 2,000 Floridians have died from fentanyl overdoses last year. For Alachua County Sheriff Chad Scott, increasing access to Narcan is especially important. His son passed away from a fentanyl overdose.
I think that if I could prevent any other parent from going through what I went through, I'm all for that.
The Sheriff's Office says the dispenser holds up to 50 boxes of Narcan. People can get the life-saving medication from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. When First at 5 returns, a mother giving back to her community with a little help from her horses. How a loved one's experience inspired her for decades long of a journey.
And how one mother is honoring her son through a zipline park. Her story and what inspired the project when we come back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
A new zipline park in Newberry lets guests soar above Hale Quarry and honors a total thrill seeker.
And after heading there earlier my month to see it for myself, there's no doubt he would approve.
Zip at Hale Quarry is home to 6 lines, including the Double Dragon, Florida's longest zip line, and Jordan's Jamboree, Florida's longest ADA-compliant zip line, named in honor of the creator's son.
Casey Glant lost her son Jordan when he was only 4. He had cerebral palsy, but that never stopped him from doing what he loved.
He was a daredevil, no fear kind of a guy.
So when Glant had the idea to build a zipline park, she knew it needed an accessible line. Even though Jordan's Jamboree proved to be the most expensive and time-consuming line to build, Glant knows it's what her son would have wanted.
With that spirit, that was very clearly communicated, even though he did not have any words for me.
She says the project was bittersweet for her, but its mission is simple: fun.
Every day here at work is just fun, so we really enjoy it, and we really enjoy making people happy
So far, everybody came down there always got a big bright smile on their faces.
Even though Jordan can't be here to ride the line named after him, Glant knows he would have loved it.
Just picturing him watching and then just having this big grin on his face that when he saw other people are having a good time, and I knew he would be very pleased.
You can get a full day pass, which gets you all 6 lines for $115, or a half day pass for $65. Ciara, Carle, WUFT News.
We are keeping our eye on the tropics as there are 2 potential tropical systems in the Atlantic right now, but we do want to keep our eye on the one that could develop over the next 48 hours. I'll have more for you next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
In North Central Florida, one woman turned her daughter's experience into a program that now helps hundreds. All new, first at 5, WFT's Alyssa Conroy shows us how Stirrups and Strides is using horses to heal and inspire.
For many people battling physical or mental health challenges, therapy and treatment doesn't always happen in the doctor's office. Sometimes it happens right here on horseback, where therapy takes a different form. For almost 20 years, Stirrups and Strides has changed lives through therapeutic riding, known as equine assisted therapy. The program uses horses to improve balance, coordination, confidence, and even mental health. At this farm, the therapists say riding can reduce anxiety, strengthen core muscles, and help people with disabilities gain independence. Founder Betty Gray says the idea is rooted behind someone close to her heart.
Well, my daughter right here is the inspiration for all the therapeutic riding.
Kathy Gray was kicked in the head by a horse at the age of 3, and this form of therapy helped her regain her motor skills. She says her journey is proof of just how powerful this program can be.
When I got back on that horse, it gave me a lot of confidence.
A study conducted by the National Library of Medicine reveals promising results for children with autism and other disabilities participating in therapeutic horseback riding. Researchers found that 70% of targeted behaviors showed improvement during the intervention, and 63% of those positive changes were still present after the program had ended. Kathy spends some of her time encouraging others to try the therapy.
I tell them my story, and I tell them, if I can do it, you can do it.
Stirrups and Strides is a fully nonprofit organization, and Kathy says staying financially stable is always a challenge. Reporting in Marin County, Alyssa Conroy, WUFT News.
And now the program is looking for more helping hands. Stirrups and Strides will host a volunteer orientation Saturday, September 20th from 10 a.m. to noon to kick off the fall season. To learn more about supporting the program or joining as a volunteer, visit their website at stirrupsandstrides.com. Well, I don't know about you guys, but for anyone who was up early this morning, I noticed that it was pretty chilly out there.
I mean, you're absolutely right, Ciara. So it did definitely feel a little bit cooler. So bring a jacket isn't the worst idea when you're going to work. But let's take a look on campus. What's going on right now? I mean, you can see up in the sky, you can definitely see it's partly cloudy, but these clouds are very visible because the drier air is preventing that rise. Now, looking at the humidity, we can also credit that to the drier air. So that's why it doesn't feel very uncomfortable outside and humid when you're walking outside. Now it's about 90 degrees, which is pretty reflective of what you're seeing around North Central Florida. I mean, you're seeing 89 in Gainesville, 90 in Brunson. So it's pretty normal weather for what you would expect for North Central Florida. Taking a look at the dew points. So right now, Gainesville is at 62, 55 for Live Oak. That feels pretty normal, but as we look at our satellite and radar, you're seeing there's not much activity going on right now. Now that is also credited to the drier air. So you're not going to be seeing many isolated showers or storms in your area. Taking a look at the lows. Now we were just mentioning that bringing a jacket or a coat to work would be suggested, but I don't know anymore. I mean, 65 for Gainesville. Live Oak is now firmly in the 60s. You can even see off the coast. I would definitely not bring a jacket if it's going to be 72 outside when I'm going to work. But let's step away from home. Let's talk about the big story. So these two are the potential tropical systems that are developing in the Atlantic. But I did want to put a little bit of attention on what's going on. So to explain this, the wind shear and drier air is preventing this from truly forming and becoming more of what it could be. Speaking of that drier air, this is the Saharan dust. The Saharan dust is the dry air that is truly preventing it from forming. But if it continues on this path, it'll really get the opportunity to form. Now, let's look at the Atlantic season frequency. So the peak was here, September 10th. Peak was here. We are on September 16th. Fun fact, 60% of tropical storms form after the peak. Looking at our futurecast, it's going to be mostly clear for north central Florida going into tomorrow. Wednesday, isolated showers. I don't know what's going on in Marion County and Ocala, but they seem to be getting beat up on. As you can see, not only are they going to be seeing potential showers tomorrow, they are going to expect to see some going into Thursday as well. Taking a look at this weekend, we are expecting it to be hot, and it's going to be about 91, 89, but the showers chances are expected to pick up. Quickly touching on our 7-day outlook, that is reflected. I mean, you're seeing 90 degrees outside. You see that 70 is going to be the norm now. So as we mentioned, it's going to be getting back to the normal temperatures. I mean, 90 and 70s. That's what you expect from north central Florida. Looking at Saturday, 20%. It's expected to start to pick up the chance of showers. Even going into Sunday, 40%. You're starting to see some potential thunderstorms that could be coming through our area and even lingering into Monday. Now, Tuesday looks mostly clear, but even lingering into Monday going into next week, the chances of showers are expected to pick up. So what do you expect? Normal lows are expected to get back to the 70s and out of the 60s, and the highs are expected to be in the 90s.
Coming up in sports, Gator fans are beginning to question if DJ Lagway should remain the starting quarterback. That's not a question for his teammates, though. We'll tell you how the team is rallying around their QB1 after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Brooke Park. Gator Nation is still coming to terms with Saturday's loss to LSU and the play of quarterback DJ Lagway. In Monday's media availability, offensive lineman Austin Barber said the team is rallying around Lagway and says he is still their QB1.
I mean, I've seen DJ. I know he can do it. I've seen DJ do it in practice and games, and I tell him all the time. I mean, go do it. You got it. I mean, I keep trying to tell him. I tell him every single day, and it's really cool to see DJ go out there during practice and games and make those type of throws. I mean, it's really awesome.
Lagway said after the loss, it was the worst game of his life. The Gators are hoping for less misery this week when they head south to take on arch rival and number 4 ranked Miami. You can have your input on the Gators quarterback play throughout our poll on WRUF.com. With over 500 replies, just over 50% pointing to the play calling being the biggest issue for Lagway's struggles. 36% think it might be rust given all the time Lagway has missed in the offseason. You can submit your vote on the landing page on WRUF.com. Switching over to the Lynx, the Florida women's golf team tried to hold their 2-shot lead at the Inverness Intercollegiate Tournament. The Gators trying to hold off Princeton, Ohio State, and NC State. They were able to hold off 2 of those 3, but not the Buckeyes. Florida finished second with a total team score of 37 over par. Addison Klanowski led the way at 2 under and was the only Gator that shot under par. She finished 8th overall. The Gators' next tournament is not until early October. The last time Gators volleyball was outside the top 25 of the coaches poll, Bruno Mars was topping the music charts with Uptown Funk. That was over a decade ago, 554 weeks to be exact. The Gators now sit at number 15 after securing a win against number 20 Baylor Sunday. It's their second-ranked win of the season and first-ranked win at home under first-year head coach Ryan Tice. Florida will look to move up for next week when they are back on the court Friday at Marquette. The remaining schedule includes 6 opponents currently in the top 25. Over on the local hardwood, multiple schools are serving into games tonight. Looking to win its second consecutive game, Gainesville High plays Forest High at 7 p.m. After a shutout win on Monday, Newberry is on the road looking for victory against Palatka. Oak Hall is also on the road to face St. John Lutheran, and St. Francis is at home against Hamilton County. Before we go, it was announced today that the national champion Florida men's basketball team starts fall camp Monday. The Gators are looking to run it back and claim a 4th national title. That's it for sports. A final look at the weather after the break.
Take one last look at the 7-day outlook. So that early morning 60s, they're expected to go away. It looks like it's going to get back to that normal 70s in the lows and then 90s in the high. And not to mention, the chances of showers are expected to pick up as Saturday and Sunday. Going into Monday, we are expecting, there is a chance that there could be some level of showers.
Thank you very much, Reuben, and thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back here tomorrow with yet another show of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and all our social media platforms. Have a good night.